Howdy friendos, TheKrazyJason here, and you have entered my wacky emporium, baby. Welcome. Thanks to all of your wonderful comments last Friday. Really kind. You don't know how much I appreciate the kind words of encouragement you gave me, because it really was the impetus for my decision to now make this weekly roundup a weekly thing. I'm going to do it faithfully every week, going up Friday. I'm going to try my best to have it up on a weekly basis, you know, for you guys. I was really just blown away by all the positive response and feedback I got, so thank you guys for that, because it's something I really enjoy doing, and if you enjoy watching it, then I'll keep doing it. First up this week, we have Failsafe, which is a Sidney Lumet film from 1964. It came out the same year as Dr. Strangelove. And this is sort of like the serious Dr. Strangelove, the dramatic Dr. Strangelove. It concerns a malfunction that happens that sends a plane towards Moscow to drop some atomic bombs on it. This movie came out at a time when Cold War tensions and the threat of global thermonuclear war was at a height, and people were paranoid. I mean, this was like 2 years after the Cuban Missile Crisis, so the threat was very real, very close. And this film was daring. Unfortunately, it opened after Strangelove, and didn't do well because Strangelove was comedy, and this was a drama, and it seems completely silly to people. So only through the passage of time, if people come to recognize it. It stars Henry Fonda and Walter Matthau and a whole host of other actors in really early roles. Incidentally, Henry Fonda got Sidney Lumet his first gig as a film director. Sidney Lumet had been in television and plays, but he got his first gig because Henry Fonda was producing 12 Angry Men, which is definitely another movie that I need to get into my collection, and definitely one I would highly recommend for you guys to see. But anyway, I digress. A lot of great character actors in this film. Great black and white photography. This is a pretty good transfer. It's got some good features on it. Director's commentary, exclusive featurette, Failsafe Revisited, and you know, some production notes and things of that nature. It also has a nice little, it's one of those older DVD releases that still have the nice things like the scene selections and a little, you know, a little blurb about the film. But I've been on a kind of a Sidney Lumet kick lately, and so I was happy to pick this up. Next up, we have The Apartment. Another film from the great director Billy Wilder, who also directed The Lost Weekend and Sunset Boulevard and a ton of other great films, but I just named two that I happen to really love. Lost Weekend was one of the first films to really tackle, came out in 1945, and it tackled alcoholism in a very serious way that hadn't really been seen before on film. And of course, Sunset Boulevard I just acquired recently too, and that's just a fantastic movie. This movie actually won Best Oscar. It won Best Picture in 1960. Actually won 5 Oscars total. And it's got Jack Lemmon, and I'm still on my Jack Lemmon kick. I know I talked about Save the Tiger last week. But it also has Shirley MacLaine and Fred MacMurray. Fred MacMurray playing against type, playing a kind of a loathsome bad guy character. Basically, the story is Jack Lemmon is this like schlub who is trying to climb the company ladder. So he allows all of his bosses to use his apartment as a place to have trysts with their girlfriends or prostitutes or women that they pick up. It's kind of funny for a movie that came out in 1960 how flippantly they sort of treat the whole idea of cheating on your wife, you know, getting a divorce, you know, fucking women in another man's apartment while he sits out on a bench freezing in Central Park. I mean, it's just, it's pretty brazen too. Shirley MacLaine, early Shirley MacLaine, she was really cute in this film. She had this nice little short haircut, and I don't know, she's just kind of cute and sexy, and she did a great job. Jack Lemmon, you know, God love him. I'm on a mission now to see every Jack Lemmon movie, every movie that he's been in, terrible or otherwise, because I'm convinced that even the terrible movies are watchable just because I love to watch Jack Lemmon. I love to watch his facial expressions. I love to watch him. I love to listen to the way he talks. So, but this is the earlier DVD release. I believe it came out in 2001, so it's bare bones. It's got a theatrical trailer, and that's it. They re-released it on DVD in 2008 with a new transfer and features. But I'm betting that this is going to come to Blu-ray sometime in the near future. Fingers crossed that they put it on Blu-ray book. But yeah, I'm probably not going to upgrade to the 2008 DVD unless I find a good deal. I'm going to hold out for the Blu-ray. Next up we have a Blu-ray, The Manchurian Candidate. This is a great thriller starring Denzel Washington, Meryl Streep, and Liev Schreiber, whatever. And this is one of the most horrific transfers I've ever seen for a Blu-ray. It was one of the early launch titles, and it was an MPEG 2 encode, and it just looks horrible. I don't even know how to describe it. It's flat. The colors are all wrong. It's just, I don't know. You know, I can't imagine it looking much better than the upscale DVD. Nevertheless, this is a great thriller, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because I want to talk about these other films that I have here. So I'm going to move on. But yeah, let me tell you about the special features. It's got commentary by director Jonathan. And let me say, even though it's a bad transfer, I love this film. And it's one of those that I can watch over and over. It's one of those thrillers, you know, that I really like. So it's got commentary by Jonathan Demme. The Enemy Within, Inside the Manchurian Candidate, the cast of The Manchurian Candidate, 5 deleted and extended scenes with optional commentary by Jonathan Demme, outtakes with optional commentary by Jonathan Demme, Liev Schreiber screen test, political pundits with optional director commentary, and HD theatrical trailer. So I picked this up for $5, guys, and for that money, it's worth it, because I will watch it again. Next up, actually, let me move on to the next one. I picked this up recently and really excited to share this with you guys. 300, the Blu-ray book, also known as the Complete Experience. And right now, I'm really into Blu-ray books, just as much as I am into steel books. I think that, for me, it's the perfect match, because I love books, and I love Blu-rays, and of course, this marries the two together. A lot of people don't like them because they're taller than a regular Blu-ray. For reference, I pulled out my regular edition that I'm going to trade or sell. It's a little bit taller than a Blu-ray, but contrary to popular belief, it is not as tall as a DVD, not even close. As you can see, the DVD is still substantially taller. But it really doesn't matter because there's a lot of people who like the uniformity of the Blu-ray case, which I don't understand because there's not the uniformity in DVDs. I mean, you have all these box sets of various sizes, you have the keep cases, you have the digipacks, you have the old snapper cases, so it's kind of all over the place. But you know, because I love collecting books, I don't mind the digibooks, you know, and besides, you could put them all like at the beginning of your collection or at the end, and you won't have that, you know, height problem. But anyway, another issue that people have is that it doesn't have any sort of clasp to hold it open. And people say things like, well, the Blu-ray is going to fall out, you know, and no, if you take care of it, it's fine. This is one of the more beautiful Blu-ray books I've come across. You can probably tell his helmet is nicely embossed and has a really nice gold shimmer to it. And this has features on it that the regular Blu-ray edition doesn't. Basically, it has, I'll just read from the book. And on the inside, by the way, it goes into detail. It talks about some of the features that you can watch, but if you prefer not to spend all that time watching them, then you can read some of the stuff in the book and get the same idea. And it's got some nice interior artwork. But anyway, basically it's called The Complete 300, A Comprehensive Immersion. And you can choose one of 3 paths. And what happens is you watch the movie, and periodically this little frame will pop up in the bottom right hand corner, and somebody will come up, like a member of the production design team, come up and talk about, you know, a set that they built or what have you. So path 1 is creating a legend, reveals the process by which Frank Miller turned an ancient historical battle into a vibrant, visionary graphic novel, and the care and passion director Zack Snyder took in adapting Miller's vision for the big screen. So you can have that path running through the entire film, or you can choose path 2, bringing the legend to life, details the filmmaking techniques, both classic and cutting edge, employed to bring Miller's intense imagery and ideas to cinematic life. Now I watched some of that and it was interesting. A little heavy on the storyboard comparisons and stuff like that. It just got a little, I don't know, it got a little redundant, and I didn't find it very informative. Now part 3 was the one I really liked, and I watched it through the entire film. The history behind the myth compares the historical facts behind the Battle of Thermopylae and everyday Spartan life with their interpretations, sometimes faithful and sometimes fanciful, in the dazzling, dynamic screen epic known as 300. And, you know, it's pretty surprising how faithful they were to the historical facts, actually. And a lot of people laughed at their, you know, buff bodies, but actually, you know, the people of Greece at that time really worshipped the human form. And so, you know, that was actually one of the accurate things. But I love 300. It's one of those few films that I will actually say is a work of art. And I don't say that much often, especially about recent films. The only other film that comes to mind that's comparable would be The Passion. For me, this is just a visual feast. And those of you who are just now getting into Blu-ray, people ask me all the time, what Blu-rays should I start out with? This, I would say, should be in your top 5. Unless you don't like the movie. And I understand, you know, I actually didn't really like the movie when I first saw it, but it has grown on me over the years. And by the way, I snagged this at an FYE for $15. It was used, but it's in perfect condition. And I knew it was a good price. And I brought it home, looked it up on Amazon, and the lowest used price on Amazon is $20. So let that be a lesson. No matter where you go, no matter where, I know FYE is just like instant, they have high prices, but you can always find a gem in there. So keep looking. I highly recommend this upgrade if you love 300, and just really happy to have this. Now, last but certainly not least, this is a sneak preview of this Monday's field trip, which is another humdinger. So be sure to tune in Monday for Kakalaki Movie Madness. Going to give you a little bit of a taste of what we got. I picked up the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Blu-ray. Now, this is interesting because I did not intend to pick this up, but it was $9, brand new. And the reason why I didn't plan on picking it up is because I had the 2-disc Ultimate Edition Steelbook, which is just a fantastic edition. It's the same transfer as the Blu-ray, same everything, and it upscales beautifully. Looks great, and you know, it's shot on 16mm, and I thought it looked fine. But I put this Blu-ray in tonight, and it's definitely worth the upgrade. It's got more depth to it, the colors, all the little dirty details in the film. By the way, all of the features on the Ultimate Edition are ported. Well, they're both called the Ultimate Edition, but all the features are the same. The features on here are ported over here, or what have you. A lot of features. High definition transfer. Well, that talks about the transfer from 16mm. Digitally remastered original mono soundtrack. Commentary with actors Marilyn Burns, Paul Partain, Alan Danziger, and art director Robert Burns. Commentary with Toby Hooper, cinematographer Daniel Pearl, and actor Gunnar Hansen. And then the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Shocking Truth, Flesh Wounds, 7 Stories of the Saw, a tour of the Turner Classic Movies, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre House with Gunnar Hansen, theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, still gallery, deleted scenes, outtakes, blooper reel, and The Shocking Truth out. This thing is fucking loaded with... This is like if Criterion had gotten a hold of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and released it. That's how good this is. That's how great a job they did on the transfer and all of the features and everything. Comprehensive. And as far as the film, what can be said? I mean, everything that's been said. For me, you know, I just have to say, it's not just a movie, it's an experience, you know. And every time I watch it, I get something new out of it. I notice something new from this movie. You know, I don't know what to say. It's a one of a kind. It's definitely lightning in a bottle. Many independent horror films have tried to capture the feel and atmosphere of this and just can't. It was something about the way they made it. It was something about the close quarters, the low budget, the hotness, the filth and grime, and, you know, I don't know. But it's just, it's a beautiful, looks gorgeous on Blu-ray. I just want to eat that grain right off the fucking screen. By the way, if you're really into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you like all these different editions, I highly suggest you go check out my good friend Oscar's channel, Disc Junkie TV. A lot of you may know him, but he has amassed quite the collection of all kinds of different editions from all over the world of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And if you haven't watched his reviews of packaging before, he goes into great detail, you know, talking about all the different aspects. So definitely go check his channel out if you're into this. He's been putting out a lot of reviews lately on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, different editions. So go check it out and tell him that Krazy Jason sent ya. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I did an earlier one, and I had several other movies, but I ran 40 fucking minutes. I'm tired. I've been up for 26 hours, so I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I will be back next Friday once again to do another update. And again, don't forget, this Monday, brand new field trip. I'm Crazy Jason. You've been in my Wacky Emporium. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.